Hello everybody, welcome to Sugar and Spice TV. It's Angie and I am here alone tonight. As you can see, Tiffany is not here. We decided to address this topic in two different videos. We're going to be talking about letting people go, and hopefully you guys will watch Tiffany's video as well. We're going to talk about how you know when you've let someone go, how do you know when you've moved on and you're moving ahead in life and forgetting about the past and past relationships. We're going to talk about that because we just feel like it's important to talk about. And because we've had two different experiences, we want you all to hear from both of our perspectives, and maybe you guys will get something out of it that you believe is helpful. So we're going to start with just a couple of facts. Fact number one, anytime you've spent an extended period of time with someone, a relationship will form. That's just a fact. Number two, when you have spent an extended period of time with someone and you have become emotionally and mentally involved with them or sexually involved with them, it complicates matters. It makes things more challenging, especially if it gets to the point where it ends. So that's definitely something that I think we all can agree to or agree with. And that's why I believe it's so important that if you know that you have no future with that person, don't lead them on. Your mouth can be saying one thing, but if your actions are saying something else, it just kind of still makes things hard. And as we mature, and especially, as older adults, you just don't have time for the games. You don't have time to be playing and all that. Also, another fact is, relationships end for different reasons, whether infidelity, whether a lack of honesty, there was no trust, abuse, you just weren't mature enough to handle commitment. Just a plethora of reasons why relationships end. And last fact is that even when it ends, you have to move on. You have to move on. If you're going to be successful in your future, you got to be able to get over the past. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of my story. I liked a gentleman. I really fell for him really hard starting in 9th grade. My family and I were living in another state at that time. We were in church. Our churches would fellowship with one another. We knew them outside of church. We would go to their home sometimes. And I really liked this gentleman. I liked everything about him. I'd fallen very deeply in love. What I felt was love for him. But one thing I want you guys to understand is that this gentleman never expressed or showed any real interest in me. And even though he hadn't shown any interest in me, I found myself falling deeper and deeper and deeper for him. And I liked him because I liked the way that he treated his family. I liked the way that he treated his sisters and brothers. I liked what I saw him doing in church. He was helping in church. I liked his quiet and laid back demeanor. I liked that he wasn't trying to be somebody that he wasn't. I don't know. I liked so much about him, and I felt this connection to him, and I don't know why. I never felt anything like that before. And we hadn't had a whole lot of communication with one another. Yes, our church's fellowship. Yes, my family knew their family, but we didn't talk a whole lot. But something about him connected me to him, and I never felt anything so strong before. And again, he hadn't showed any interest, but yet I continued to fall for him. And this love for him went on through high school and on into college and on into adulthood. And I was never taught to chase after guys. My family, my mom and dad did not teach us like that. They taught us that when a male is interested in you, they're going to make it plain and very clear how they feel. You're not going to have to be doing all of this extra chasing after him, working extra hard. It doesn't work that way. He'll let you know. So with that, I was never one that would chase after guys. More than likely, you wouldn't know that I liked you because I wouldn't. I just wouldn't act like it. You just wouldn't. It would all be in here. You would never see it, come out. So in the rare occasion that I did let you know how I felt, and I can think maybe that happened twice in my life. It had to be something that was so deep on my mind that I just had to let you know what was going on with me. So in college, again, you guys know that this had gone on for some years. In college, I got the nerve to let him know what was going on. I let him know how I felt. And, his family knew, that I liked him. There were members of my family that knew that I liked him, but he had never made a move. He had never, put it out. He didn't do anything, and I'm steady falling for this guy. So in college, I got the nerve and the courage to say, you know what, I gotta let this guy know how I feel. I have to let him know, guys. I wish that I could really explain it how I felt it. I really felt that I was connected to him. I could feel it in my bones that I love this guy, and I knew that if he made a move, the rest would be history. Something in me knew that we would work. We would work. I can't explain it. I just knew it. That's it. But called him, let him know, and he let me down easy. I'm focusing on this, and I'm doing this, and gave me some other information. He was never really straight up and said, you know what, I don't feel the same. So I was still kind of left in the middle, not quite knowing, is that a yes, is that a no, is that I don't know, and that was just that, and that should have been enough. I should have learned a long time ago and accepted the reality that this guy is not really into me. He's not showing any effort. He's not making any moves. But I didn't. I totally looked past all of that, and I convinced myself that this was going to work. I had created this whole fantasy in my mind of the life that we were going to have, or we could have had. One day he's going to knock on my door and tell me that I was the woman that he was always looking for and searching for. And I had stuck to that. And I went on for some more years. And I'm telling you guys, this is on up until adulthood. I went on for some more years and still having the strong feeling for him. And it wasn't till fairly recently I said, you know what, Angie, that's enough. And I would talk to my mom on several occasions about how strongly I felt for him. My mom would try to tell me, look, you need to look at the reality of this. And I didn't want to move on. I didn't want to move on, and he changed his mind, or he came to my door one day and I was, it was just so much going on in my mind, and I guess I was just scared to move on. That's the best way to say it. I was kind of scared to move on. I didn't want to possibly lose someone that I felt so connected to. I had invested so much time in this situation. Because I had convinced myself, it was hard for me to see the reality of this situation. It was really hard for me to see the reality. I had received conversation with my mom, my dad, even my dad, about this situation. And I just, when you really convince yourself of something, it's really hard to kind of pull you away from that until, you have a reality sort of situation to just hit you. And as I stated one day, I said, Angie, that's enough. I would stay glued to his Twitter and his Facebook because, eventually our family had moved. So I wasn't in contact with him like that. So I'd stay glued to the Twitter and the Facebook in any way that I could feel close to him. And it just taken up so much unnecessary time and energy and space that, I didn't even have to go through or deal with if I would have just paid attention to the signs, and like I said, I got to the point where I was like, that's enough. You're too old, first off, to be doing this. You're way too old. And you don't, Angie, you can't go another year, just wasting all of your time on somebody who's clearly not interested in you. Clearly not interested. It's clearly not showing. They're trying to show you without being man enough to tell you, that this is not going to happen. They're letting you know, and I just, again, I can't say it enough. I just refused it. But I got to the point though. And there's a saying that goes, better is it to bloom late than to never bloom at all. And I was a late bloomer in this situation. Some of you guys would be like, girl, look, I would have been done. I hear you. And I wish that would have been me. I kind of jotted down some things that I learned from this situation. Hopefully this is not tacky to you guys. I had to jot it down because it was just kind of coming to my mind on how I was able to kind of move past this. And love is a serious thing. When you connected yourself to somebody, whether you did it yourself or you guys both were really intimately involved in it and it broke up. Yeah, it's hard, and I can understand that from personal experience. So be honest with yourself. Take a real good look at yourself and see and recognize that where you are is where you want to be. Is this situation taking everything out of you? Is it really worth it? Have you spent too much time focused on something, or focused on something in that relationship that is not working? There's nothing there. Love is a whole lot of things. Love is patient, love is kind, and all that good stuff, but love is not stupid. That's one thing that love is not. And if your love for that individual is causing you to do stupid stuff and be all crazy and out of order and wasting time and all that, hey, you got to rethink that. You just do. Same goes for me. I had to rethink it. So take a look at yourself. Be honest with yourself. Accept the reality. I was looking at the situation from the perspective of what I wanted it to be, not for what it was. I wanted it to be this loving, happily ever after fairy tale. It wasn't that. The reality was, he didn't call, he wasn't showing any interest, he didn't have enough to even see how you were doing. None of that mattered to him. And I looked past that. And maybe if I would have accepted the reality of it earlier, I wouldn't have been in the predicament that I was in. I wouldn't have wasted so much time of my life. Recognize false hope. I kept hope in a situation that showed no promise because I convinced myself that we would work. There was no effort, there was no interest, there was nothing there. I created all of this in my mind and I held to it, and I held on for years. And that false hope led me to spending a lot of unnecessary time. That I didn't have to spend. I didn't have to waste my time. And yes, I wish he would have been more straight up. I wish he would have been like, look, Angie, this is how I feel. It's not going to work. I don't feel the same. He didn't do that. But I still have to take responsibility for my piece of it. I should have recognized these signs a whole lot earlier. I should have been able to accept the reality and lose this illusion that I had created, of the future that we could have had. When it's right, things are going to be in order. You're not going to have to be chasing after people, losing sleep, and doing all of this extra stuff, begging and blowing up their phone, checking, stalking, trolling, all of this stuff that we do, when it's right and when it's in order and when it's meant to be. We're not going to have to do all of that stuff. When somebody likes you, they're going to let you know. They're going to let you know in how they speak in word and in their deed and in their actions and in their efforts. If that's not there, quit thinking so hard about it. You just got to move on and adjust accordingly. Just period. Sometimes I feel like we just think too hard into stuff and we overthink it and mess ourselves up because we've overthought a situation when it was very plain and clear in front of us. Next thing I had to do, when I really got to the point where I said, that's it. You're not doing this no more, Angie. You're too smart. You're worth too much. You got a lot going for yourself. There's no reason in the world that you need to be spending all of this time on somebody who cannot see that, who doesn't even want to give it a chance. Almost made me mad, really almost makes me mad when I kind of think about, how I was operating. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm so all of that or anything. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm worth a whole lot more than somebody who's not even interested. And you are too. That's man or woman. So, but when I made up my mind, another thing that I had to do, I said, I gotta stop stalking, trolling and all that. I told you guys I would stay hooked to the guy's Facebook, his social media. I wanted to keep up with him. I wonder what he's doing, how he's doing. Now, this guy has moved on. He's in another phase of his life right now. And I'm still doing the most. And I said I had to stop that. Literally cut it off. I know how I can be, so I know what I have to do. When you're really done with something, you gonna block everything you need to block. Get off the Facebook, the Twitter, the Snapchat, the Instagram, whatever it is. Lose the number, throw away the sweatshirt, all of that. Just get rid of it all. Some situations are different, I understand. Sometimes it's just not that easy. Some people have children involved where you just cannot not have communication with them. But even in those situations, take care of your business and move along. You don't got to invite the person to dinner. You don't got to go to the movies and have these long drawn out conversations with them either. So there's still some things that can be done when you're on that road to moving on successfully and not going back to old ways. Reliving the glory days, reliving the hurt. Nothing can stay alive unless you feed it. So when we're constantly giving our time and energy to the social media sites and all, reliving all of the good times and the hurt, and we're constantly feeding it, it stays alive. But when we stop feeding it with our energy and stop feeding it with our time and stop feeding it with our emotion, it has to die out little by little. It's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy, because I still think about the guy. And I still every once in a while get that urge. But no, I'm not. I believe that I can continue to go and be successful like I have been. But stop feeding that stuff. That's the only way it's gonna die, if we stop feeding it. And the last two things I have is just make peace with it. Accept that this has happened. Work, and this is a process to remove the angry feelings and remove all of the ill feelings and all of that. Work to remove that, because you can't fully move on when that person is still taking up so much of your emotional space. It's taking up so much of you still. And when you've made peace, you're not looking at their new boo sideways. When you've made peace, you're not still trying to take shots at them over the internet and over social media. When you've made peace, you want them to move on as well. When you've made peace, it helps moving on a lot easier. So yeah, am I over it at the end of the day? I will say this. I'm not wasting no more time looking up on their social media. Surely not, allowing them to take up any space in my life to where when God sends that person in my life, they're in the back of, nah, bruh, it ain't even that serious no more. I still think about them. There's some areas that I, as far as my feelings towards certain things that I still deal with sometimes, but it feels so good when that thing doesn't have a grip on you like it used to. It just really does. But you got to want to be free from it. You have to want to let go. So hopefully some of those tips helped, on how you can let go and the importance of letting go. But accept the reality. You can do it. Love you guys. Hopefully it was helpful. Subscribe, comment. Tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't like something, if it was, whatever. But yeah, love you guys. Subscribe.